Greetings, kings and queens. Blessings to you all. Now, this was a moment for me that made her the greatest of all time. The GOAT, Elaine Thompson Herah. This 10.54 in Eugene, Oregon. Now listen, I'm not calling her a traditional GOAT. And if anybody says it in the comments, I'm going to... Yeah, just like that GOAT. Now, Elaine Thompson Herah has had the greatest season in the history of sprints by any female athlete. Literally the greatest season. But what makes someone the greatest of all time, or to shorten that, the GOAT? To answer this, let's look at a quick summary of Elaine Thompson Herah's amazing career. Let's start from the beginning at the Rio Olympics. In the finals of the women's 100 meters at the Rio Olympics 2016, against the great Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, Elaine Thompson wins in a time of 10.72. Her celebration of that win is epic. And the world is made aware of the dawning, the rising of a new champion, Elaine Thompson Herah. In the same 2016 Olympic Games, she went on to win the women's 200 meters in a time of 21.78, becoming the first woman in 28 years to win the double at an Olympic game, meaning she won the gold in both 100 and 200. Well, if you are a Yardie, a Jamaican who follows athletics, you would know that we in Jamaica suspected as much. You see, at the National Olympic Trials at the National Stadium in Kingston, Jamaica in 2016, Elaine Thompson Herah shocked the entire stadium, the entire nation and the pundits by winning the women's 100-meter finals, beating the great Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce in an world lead time and national record equaling time of 10.70. It was remarkable. We knew then that the world was in for something very special in 2016 from Elaine Thompson Herah. We knew that we were witnessing the birth of another giant in the women's sprint world. But after this spectacular 2016, people, after 3 gold medals at the Rio Olympics, becoming the first woman in 28 years to win the gold in 100 and 200 meters, Elaine Thompson went silent. No, I'm not saying she stopped competing, I'm just saying after this remarkable 2016, she simply never lived up to expectations. She did win titles, she did win Diamond League titles, she did have a successful career, but nothing at the level of 2016. I think for some, this is why there's a hesitance to name her the greatest of all time, the GOAT, because of this inconsistency. But we have to remember that each person's career path is different. And she was still performing at an exceptional level. She was still in the conversation. She was still in the top 5 women in the world for that entire 5 years. Even more importantly, there was a valid reason as to why she was not functioning at the level that we all anticipated. And maybe many persons weren't aware of that reasoning. And in fact, some Jamaicans even said she made up the reason because she wasn't doing as well. After the spectacular Olympics in 2016, she placed 5th in the World Championships in 2017 and had to pull out of Doha because of a recurring
I don't know where
Achilles
this Achilles injury come from, but I mean,
this injury plagued her for 5 years. 5 years. From 2016 until 2021. So, can we really judge her based on this injury? Once Elaine Thompson was fully healed and back to form, she became an even greater athlete, doing seemingly impossible things in 2021, starting with an Olympic record-breaking 100-meter run of 10.61. 10.61. Remarkable. Closing out the double by winning the women's 200 meters in a time of 21.53. On fire. Clearly, once healed, Elaine Thompson Herah was unbeatable. I mean, not even Shelley and Fraser Price was putting down some insane times could actually beat her. Then on August 24th, at the Prefontaine Classic, Eugene, Oregon, the Haywood Field Stadium, she does the seeming impossible. With a wind reading of plus 0.9, she runs an impossible 10.54. Had the wind just been plus 1.4, she would have broken FloJo's seemingly unbreakable record. For me, this cemented without a doubt that she was the greatest of all time, the GOAT. Elaine Thompson Herah closes off the 2021 track season as the Diamond League 100-meter champion. The Diamond League 100-meter champion. She lowers the world lead to 10.54, a hair's breadth from breaking FloJo's world record. She is the Olympic 100-meter champion in an Olympic record time of 10.61, now the fourth fastest time of all. She wins the women's 100 meters, the women's 200 meters, and to top it off, she collects another gold medal in the 4x100 meters. She has 3 of the fastest times on earth by a woman, 10.54 and 10.61. And she's only beaten once after the Olympics by her compatriot, friend, and arch rival, the legendary Shelley and Fraser Price, who had to run 10.60 to beat her. Now the third fastest time in female history. I'm stating categorically that once healed, once healthy, Elaine Thompson Herah is virtually unbeatable. In fact, the only woman who can beat her is herself virtually unbeatable. What makes you the greatest of all time? What makes you the GOAT? It's doing the seemingly impossible with a certain degree of consistency. It's showing up on the big occasions. It's performing at your best when it matters. It's breaking records. It's running at speeds that are seemingly impossible. It's winning countless medals. So, do I think that Elaine Thompson Herah is the greatest of all time? I mean, do you think, based on this vlog, that she's the greatest of all time? The only lull in her career, which I admit is extensive, it's 5 years, but it was a result of an Achilles heel injury. She is the greatest of all time, doing these seemingly impossible things consistently. In my mind, makes her the greatest female athlete of all time. The GOAT. The true GOAT. For me, in my humble opinion, has got to be Elaine Thompson Herah. I'd love to know your thoughts. And as always, bless up.